The president has signed an executive order to dismantle the Department of Education. Scripps News Group Nathaniel Reed will have more on how this will impact schools here in the Coastal Bend. Plus,
a Texas lawmaker filed a bill that would abolish Texas Parks and Wildlife. I'm your Corpus Christi neighborhood news reporter, Victoria Valderrama. I'll tell you what changes would be made if this bill is passed and who would be impacted.
And we're taking a live look right now at our SPID Skycam. Looks like traffic is flowing pretty smoothly this Friday morning. Hey, it's 6 o'clock right now. We'll have meteorologist Stephanie Lauber with a look at your forecast for today and this weekend. And she'll also have a look at the roads. It's Friday, March 21st. Chris 6 Sunrise starts now. Hey, good morning, folks. Welcome to Chris 6 News Sunrise. Thank you so much for waking up with us today. I'm Michelle Hoffman, and it is finally Friday. We are so excited for the weekend, and we want to get you ready for the day as well. So we do have meteorologist Stephanie Lauber with us with a look at our traffic. Hey, good morning.
Good morning. Happy Friday. We've got the Friday earrings on. I
Yes.
almost forgot them at the beginning of the last news.
We got to do a little dance.
A little dance, get the week shaken off. We got to get into that weekend spirit. We've got to get through Friday first, though. So let's get to the business. What's happening out on the roadways? Well, as you leave this morning, you will want a sweater again. It's chilly, but we're looking pretty good out there. Visibility, not a problem. Perfect 10s across the board. So, hey, that's a good start to the ride. But a couple of other things to know before you hit the roads. We are going to be dealing with a cool and calm morning here. Chilly and clear, so the morning commute is going to look A-OK. We still have some of those lane closures we expect today at Staples and McCardle for some traffic light work. And a little bit of work happening for 181 as you come in to 37 and 286. There will be some changes that happen later this morning, so watch out for crews flagging traffic around. And then for the evening commute, windows down. We are looking good with plenty of sunshine, a little breezy for the ride home, but nothing problematic and nothing in comparison to what we've seen earlier in the week. So as you get ready to leave for this morning, here's a look at those drive times. They're pretty typical for a normal Friday morning. 24 minutes will get you into downtown from the island, 11 minutes over the Harbor Bridge, and for our neighbors coming from Calallen, less than 15 minutes. So as you head out, make sure you stay safe and drive safe. I've got your weather on the 6s in less than 4 minutes.
Sounds good, Steph. Thank you so much. We'll check back in with you in just a bit. But first, we head to Washington, where President Trump has signed an executive order to begin the process of eliminating the Department of Education. Scripps News Group Nathaniel Reed joins us live this morning now. And Nathaniel, this is a move the president first promised on the campaign trail. So what would eliminating the Department of Education do for Title I funding schools here in the Coastal Bend?
Well, morning, Michelle. And there's a lot of questions about what the ramifications are going to be from this executive action by President Trump. He made clear yesterday that he wants his Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, to be the final U.S. Secretary of Education. He also said that things like Title I funding, Pell Grants, those are all going to move to different departments, no longer be under the jurisdiction of the Department of Education, but continue to go out to schools and school districts. Take a listen.
Pell Grants, Title I funding, resources for children with disabilities and special needs will be preserved, fully preserved. They're all going to be so. If you look at the Pell Grants, supposed to be a very good program, Title I funding and resources for children with special disabilities and special needs, they're going to be preserved in full and redistributed to various other agencies and departments that will take very good care of them.
And look, the Department of Education has other functions as well, Michelle. Some of those still questions about what they are going to do about, let's say, ongoing investigations into anti-Semitism incidents in schools, things that the Department of Education has been accomplishing up to this point. Now, the Department of Ed signed into law by President Jimmy Carter back in 1979. That history is important because it was a bill that was passed through Congress. So Congress created the agency. It would be up to Congress to eliminate the agency. So still questions about what President Trump can do on his own, even though he has the support of Republican governors. The governor of Texas was there, along with the attorney general, for that signing yesterday. They are supportive of the decision to eliminate the Department of Ed But again, questions about what he can accomplish on his own. The votes are not there in Congress, even though Republicans have a majority to try and eliminate the Department of Education federally through Congress. So a lot of questions about what the future is and what agencies, what departments would do things like providing that Title I funding to Texas schools. Still not clear what department those tasks and functions that Trump wants to preserve would move over to.
Well, Nathaniel, thank you so much for the information you provided so far, and we hope you have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Hey there, good morning and happy Friday to you. We are kicking off the start of the weekend with some great news because our weather pattern is finally starting to change. We're moving away from that kind of weather that makes us prone to have wildfires, and we're starting to see that water come back to the air around us. Humidity is actually a good thing in this case. We'll talk about it, but first we've got to get you up and out the door. So here's the view of SPID this morning. Traffic moving smoothly, and weather isn't going to be a factor here at all, except for the fact that you're going to want to bring a sweater as you head out for that morning commute. You won't need it this afternoon, but especially if you thought it was chilly yesterday, you'll regret it if you don't grab it. So here we go. Temps in the 40s for some neighborhoods, including here in Corpus Christi, 44 degrees, 41 degrees in Beeville, 46 for our neighbors down in Kingsville, and the warmest temperatures only along the coast, 63 in Port A, 61 in Rockport, which is also the temperature at NAS Corpus Christi. But cool temperatures, clear skies, calm winds. Usually we'd have a little bit of fog or at least haze to go with that, and we're not seeing that because our air is still very dry. We're not as dry as yesterday because we've had southeast winds help us out a little bit in the past 12 to 24 hours. But relatively speaking, we are still pretty dry out there. We have a lot of work to make up for when it comes to our humidity, but I think this weekend is going to offer us a good opportunity to do that. So for today, you'll notice those changes when we feel comfortable outside. Temperatures just going to be on the doorstep of 80 degrees for a lot of neighborhoods that are east of Highway 77. Those of you that are west, more inland of Highway 77, I think you'll be in those lower 80s, but here in Corpus Christi, just shy. Something else to note, it's going to be a little breezy this afternoon, not overly windy, but a little shaking and moving in the wind. So for that drive home, you'll notice a breeze. We'll keep it between about 30 and 35 miles per hour for the gusts, and that won't be a consistent thing, but at times for the ride home, you might feel a little tug of war with the steering wheel. Won't be anything like what we saw earlier in the week, where this is tolerable for us, but still going to be an active evening. The important thing, we're still keeping that southeast wind direction, that onshore flow. It's very important to us because it can help stop this conversation about fire weather. We, I think, are a little fatigued. We're over it when it comes to talking about wildfires, right? It's been a problem. We want to get over it. Humidity is part of the answer. So today we don't have a lot of it. We have more, but we don't have a lot of it. So a very high fire danger, a 4 out of 5 on the scale. But look what those southeast winds can do for us. We're going to move down to a moderate fire danger for the weekend. That's a 2 out of 5. So a huge improvement. Now, what is helping us out? Looking at the big weather picture, not much happening over the Lone Star State. It's what's happening over the northern Gulf Coast. High pressure. Air moves clockwise around that. So that is going to bring those southeast winds and continue to push moisture over the coastal bend. Yes, this front entering the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas will be here as we move from Sunday into Monday, but it's not really going to offer much change. So it won't interrupt the progress that we're making on the Muggy meter, which shows that rebound consistently stays humid into next week. Now, I feel pretty good about that translating to some rain chances, so I'll tell you exactly when we expect our next best chance of rain coming up in a 7-day look at the forecast ahead.
Sounds good, Steph. Thank you so much. So a bill has been filed that would abolish Texas Parks and Wildlife. It's a story we mentioned at Chris 6 on Sunrise. Coming up after the break, our neighborhood news reporter, Victoria Balderrama, tells us who the changes will impact if the bill is approved. Hey, welcome back, folks. 6:12 this Friday morning. You're getting your first look at our Manicam. Looking beautiful out there, overseeing the Texas flag in downtown Corpus Christi. You can see, though, kind of windy this morning. It's also 44 degrees outside right now, so you might want to grab a light jacket before you head out the door. Of course, we will check in with meteorologist Stephanie Lauber in just a bit to show you what your day will look like for the forecast. But we have some neighborhood news first.
I'm your Corpus Christi neighborhood news reporter, Victoria Balderrama. Somewhere in the coastal bend, you've seen this sign. Texas Parks and Wildlife. The department oversees 89 state parks and 50 wildlife management areas. But after recent decisions and discussions, there's a possible shift of power. Those hiking, camping, hunting, or fishing know the drill.
These are the main thing you need out here.
Look, I'm doing it correctly, like there you go. And yeah, they just, one glance, they know how to do the job, and they saw that, like, that it was, everything was correct. And
Texas Parks and Wildlife game wardens ensure compliance. They have the same authority as a sheriff, something Chris Rodriguez is aware of.
What do they say whenever they saw you?
Just if we had a license, and then checked the license, and then just checked our fish.
But regulating and enforcing commercial and recreational fishing laws is only a small part of what Texas Parks and Wildlife does for the state.
We work with them frequently on a range of issues from water management, flood planning, wildlife protection, wildlife plans.
David Cortez is the director of Sierra Club, one of the largest and oldest grassroots environmental organization in Texas. Him and I spoke about the possible abolishment of the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department.
This bill, HB 4938 by Pat Curry, wants to eliminate the Parks and Wildlife Department, much like we're seeing at the federal level. And they say put it in the hands and control of other state agencies.
According to the bill, the authority would go to the General Land Office, the Department of Agriculture, and the Department of Public Safety. The bill would also disperse the funds for the department to those agencies.
And to get rid of the department altogether, I think it just is a bad decision. And frankly, there's a lot more other issues that need attention.
If it passes, House Bill 4938 would go into effect on September 1st of this year. In Corpus Christi, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Victoria Valderrama, for Chris 6 News.
Hey there, good morning to you. The view from the CCAC camera out at Snoopy's is looking good. 2 cars heading up and over the JFK Causeway, so a pretty calm morning here. But what are we expecting for that weekend forecast? You might be making plans already, and while yes, we are still going to talk about fire danger in the forecast, we have a change in our weather pattern happening right now that is going to drop that fire danger into the weekend. So perhaps a little more restful of a weekend without so much concern. We still need to be on our toes, but we're looking at improvements in the days ahead. So here we go, starting your forecast off this morning with chilly temperatures. As you head out the door, you'll want a sweater. We're waking up in the 40s and 50s for a lot of neighborhoods. The 60s just along the coast, 63 in Port A, 61 in Rockport and in the Bluff at NAS Corpus Christi, but 46 in Kingsville. 40 on the nose now in Beeville, and 44 at the airport here in Corpus Christi. This comes with calm winds, so at least you have that. It's chilly, but it's not chilly and windy, and visibility is looking good heading up and out the door. Now, our temperatures are going to climb, of course, once the sun heads up over the horizon. Gets to work quickly. We'll be in the 50s by the mid-morning hours and traveling through the 60s, the 70s, and some of us are going to stop there. But into the afternoon, I think a lot of the inland neighborhoods will make it to those lower 80s before it's all said and done. Here in Corpus Christi, I think we're going to end up just shy of that 80-degree mark. So something to keep in mind, but warmer overall versus yesterday. We will also have a little more humidity. We're still very dry, so a little bit does go a long way, but we need more southeast wind in our forecast, and that's exactly what we have. In fact, the rebound over the weekend is going to take us to a humid level on the Muggy meter here, and we stay there through next week. So with enough water in the air around us, we'll start to see some clouds, especially on Sunday. Even some rain in the forecast. I think that could come as we head from Sunday night into Monday. The timing of that cold front is going to play a big role in it. It's a very weak cold front. All it will really do for us is help to make for some clouds and hopefully some rain. So we'll keep a chance for an isolated shower, maybe a rumble of thunder in the forecast. But heading into next week, look, this bar graph has not been in this part of the graph in a really long time. We're talking about widely scattered showers and storms as we go from Wednesday night and seeing even more of that on Thursday. Now, this is at the tail end of the forecast, but it's looking good. It's been looking good for a couple of days on the extended outlook. So some very good news in our 7-day forecast. So to recap, today we are still talking about very high fire danger. That is a 4 out of 5. We need to be very careful. But over the weekend, that drops down to a 2 out of 5. So we can enjoy this nice weather over the weekend. Chance of rain more likely to fall on Monday as we head into the morning hours, and then another opportunity for rain Wednesday into Thursday of next week.
All right, Stephanie, thank you so much. So who is keeping it clean and who needs to clean it up? We'll find out after the break on the Kitchen Cops.
Now, your Chris 6 Kitchen Cops Report.
Yes, it is time for this week's Kitchen Cops Report. Andy Lascano has the scores from City County health inspectors for the week of March 10th through the 14th.
These are just some of the perfect scores on this week's Kitchen Cops. The Denny's on SPID, Elotes El Regio on Vernon, Las Potosinas on Navigation, Little Caesars on Baldwin, Sarku Japan on SPID, Snapka's Drive-In on Leopard.
We are the churches on Greenwood, and we got another perfect score. Yeah.
And it's another perfect score for the crew at Church's Texas Chicken on Greenwood, where Joel Beasley's the manager. The guy in the red shirt is Jojo Morales. He tells us he's worked here 18 years.
Why have you stayed here 18 years?
The store actually works with you on your hours. I got 2 jobs. I got kids that still go to school, so they work with my hours during the day, and then I get to go home and do the night job and then be right back in the morning at 8 o'clock.
Talk about commitment. Congratulations to the crew at Church's Chicken on Greenwood for keeping it clean and safe. Also earning 100 from inspectors. The Subway on the 4100 block of South Staples, the Subway on the 4400 block of Castores, Super Latin on Weber, the Whataburger on the 1100 block of Waldron, the Taco Bell on the 1200 block of Waldron, and Yummy Tummy Cheesecakes on Castores. On this week's B-list, Frida's Mexican Restaurant on Star, 6 violations, score of 86. Kebab Steakhouse on Northwest Boulevard, 8 violations, including the cooler not holding cooling temperatures, a score of 85. To see the complete list of this week's locations and scores, go to our website, christv.com.
All right, well, as we head up and out the door on this Friday, getting ready to hit the roads, this is a view from our First Community Bank camera overlooking the Harbor Bridge, where traffic appears to be rolling smoothly. But let's get a look at what's going on for those inland neighbors who might be traveling along 281 or Highway 77 here. If you're taking the route between Kingsville, Bishop Driscoll, and Robstown along 77, we're looking good, no delays. Highway 281 through Jim Wells County, for the most part, looking good all along the ride north and south. Heading into our more northern counties, the ride along Highway 59 from George West to Beeville is looking okay all the way into the Victoria Crossroads. That's also the case here on Highway 77 from Sinton through Refugio and Woodsboro. And for those of you closer to home, as you just saw on the First Community Bank camera, we're looking good along 181. No delays to talk about. That continues to be the case even for that interchange between the Crosstown interchange and 37. So as you head out this morning, make sure you stay safe and you drive safe. That's a look at your traffic report. Your forecast is next.
Alrighty, Steph, thank you so much. Still ahead on Chris 6 Sunrise, from ponds to pickles. We have just the thing for you to do in this week's Coastal Bend weekend.
Now, weather on the 6s.
Hey there, good morning. The view from the Manicam looking good by the Arts Center there. And one truck, a busy bee, heading up and out the door. So if you are getting ready to do the same thing, you need to know it's a little chilly out there. And we've got a breeze here along the Bayfront, but for most neighborhoods, not nearly as breezy and chilly as we were yesterday. So some improvements overall. It's all part of a change in the weather pattern we're seeing as we head on into the weekend. So thanks for that view, Manny. Hope you're staying warm out there because yeah, it's a little cold for most folks' liking, I think. So let's talk about how those temperatures are faring in your neighborhood. So far, we've been looking at temperatures ranging from the 40s, the 50s, and even the 60s. So here's how things are trending. We have 40s right here in Corpus Christi. So yeah, it's feeling cold out there. Have the wide view for yourself. 44 at the airport right now. It's a lot like what's going on up in Beat County. 40 degrees at our station in Beeville. 61, a big contrast along the coast at Rockport and in the Bluff at NAS Corpus Christi. So all of this with relatively light winds, clear skies, and phenomenal visibility, 10 out of 10. Normally we'd have some fog with conditions like this, but because it's so dry out, We don't even have enough water to make for haze or clouds this morning. So, hey, let's talk about that temperature difference around the coastal bend by diving into the Chris 6 Neighborhood Weather Network. We'll start out here where we have the warmer temperatures out along Padre Island. We're in the lower 60s here. 63 off Granada Drive, Padre Isle. Our stations Magoo and Vortex 3 showing 62 degrees. So, yeah, keeping it relatively warm here because of the water temperature. That insulates the temperatures on land because it keeps from having too much variation. But in contrast, when you're more inland and away from the Gulf, you can have some very chilly weather here. Our station off Hilltop Road reporting 46 degrees, 39 at the Beeville station here in the southern part of the county, and 49 degrees off FM 504. So, yeah, you want to bundle up this morning, but you won't need it this afternoon. How about that dog walk forecast? Our start today, Gus loves to go for that walk out on the coast, so that's a warmer one for the start of the day anyways. Gus loves the beach, and I think we'll have plenty of beach weather in store this weekend, but we've got to get through Friday first. So the Friday morning dog walk is still going to be a very pleasant one. Plenty of sunshine that'll get to work to warm us up. We'll travel through the 40s, 50s, 60s, and yes, the 70s, making it to the lower 70s by lunchtime. By then, yes, the wind will start to pick up a little bit. We'll have winds 15 to 20 miles per hour, but overall, pretty tame. So our winds will be slightly improved, but really what's helping out with our fire weather forecast is going to be the rise in humidity because of the southeast wind direction we're expecting to last over the next several days. So we'll go from a 4 to 5, very high fire danger today, down to a 2 out of 5 over the weekend, moderate fire danger. So a huge improvement as that fire danger drops. But what do we get in return? We are going to see sunshine and high pressure because nothing is really happening over the Lone Star State. Big Blue H over the northern Gulf Coast, air moves clockwise around high pressure. So that means we're around the 7, 8 o'clock part of the clock. And so that is going to bring southeast winds on our coast, bringing a rise in humidity. So don't be worried about this cold front you see up by the panhandles. That's not going to do what the last couple of ones have done, dry us out, bring gusty winds. No, actually, it could trigger some rain chances because it's going to be very weak by the time it gets here very late Sunday, early Monday. And our humidity uninterrupted. That is going to stay pretty humid into next week. Consistent humidity means we can get some clouds. We can get some rain in the forecast. Check it out. Our next best chance of rain looks to be as we head on into Monday, an isolated chance of rain, maybe a rumble of thunder, but really good rain chances seem to be the case in the middle of next week, Wednesday into Thursday. Scattered showers, we haven't seen that in a while, so that'll be a sight for sore eyes. And until then, the weather is looking great for this weekend.
Now, the local events and fun things to do. It's Coastal Bend Weekend with the Hoffmans.
This Coastal Bend weekend, it's time to make your move because your neighborhood is where all the action's happening. If you're looking for a check-worthy experience, it's time to stop horsing around and head to the Bay Area. The Chess Madness March Tournament takes over Windsor Park Elementary this Saturday. Everyone's welcome to play for prizes. Bring your own clock if you have one. Check-in starts at 9 a.m. and the first round kicks off at 10 a.m.
If you're pickle obsessed, Pickle Fest is where you need to be this Saturday at Nueces Brewing Company from 11:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Enjoy all things pickle competitions, pickle-flavored food, and a live music lineup that'll keep you grooving. Not into pickles, though? No sweat. There's still plenty of fun in your neighborhood. The Junior League of Corpus Christi's annual Touch a Truck event is taking over Whataburger Field on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Climb into a variety of vehicles from emergency responders to construction equipment and utility trucks. And for a quieter experience, there's a special horn-free window from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. for some sensory-friendly fun. Want to buy, sell, or trade? You can head on over to Padre Island Yacht Club's boat show and market days. It's this Saturday and Sunday starting at 10 a.m. at 13403 Whitecap Boulevard. The entry fee is $2. Kids under 12 get in free. So we've covered most of the ground and sea, so now it's time to fly in Ingleside. The Commemorative Air Force is hosting the Third Coast Air Jam 2025 on Saturday. You can go to the Ingleside Airport and celebrate World War II aviation heritage. There will be a scavenger hunt at the World War II Museum, hands-on workshops, and scenic Stearman rides available. Admission is free and you can get Burger Bird for lunch by contributing a donation. Meanwhile, TAMU WCC is kicking off its 8th annual Piano Celebration Week today. Enjoy 10 days of free access to a diverse lineup of performances and educational events. Check out our website for a full schedule of those events. And don't miss Cinema in the Parks this Saturday. Grab the family and your furry friends and head to Winrock Park to watch Inside Out 2 for free. The movie starts at 7:30 p.m. Just don't forget your lawn chairs or blankets. Food and drinks will be available for purchase.
And of course, folks, for more information on what's happening in your neighborhood, visit our website, christv.com. And if you want to see your event featured on a future Coastal Bend Weekend segment, make sure you send us a message.
Hey there, good morning. 6:35 your time right now. And if you are heading up and out the door, well, you're looking at a pretty smooth ride. Traffic really hasn't been a problem for us so far. Hope I didn't just jinx it for you, but we're seeing some busy bees up here on the JFK Causeway. So let's start our review out over here on the traffic report. 361, Park Road 22 and the JFK Causeway are looking just fine. If you're heading to NAS Corpus Christi this morning, the commute's a little bit slower than typical. We're around 15 miles per hour as you approach the gate there on NAS Drive, but overall, not bad. The rest of the bluff also looking pretty smooth for that commute this morning. And coming on into town from the south side up to the Bay Area, no traffic delays to report at all. That does include, for the most part, that interchange on the crosstown as you meet 37. There's a little stop and go, but 181 is also another example of a smooth commute on this Friday morning. So as you head out, make sure you stay safe and you drive safe. That's a look at your traffic report. I've got to check on that forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Amid an active week of moves across the country regarding immigration, the Department of Justice has potentially cleared the way for Senate Bill 4 to make a statewide return. I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Adam Beam, sitting down with a legal expert who explains the potential impact on undocumented citizens and law enforcement coming up.
Imagine a career that's focused on changing lives of children from broken homes. I'm Michaela Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter on the South Side. I'll tell you what celebration is happening this spring break and how it's going to impact families all across South Texas.
Now, say hello to your neighbors. This is your Chris 6 News Sunrise Shoutouts.
Hello, Chris 6 Sunrise team. I'm Javi Martinez and I'm joined by my Year 3 electrical class at the Craft Training Center located on Leopard near Southern Minerals, and we hope you have a nice day.
Aw, good morning to you guys too, our neighbors at the Craft Training Center. We hope you have a wonderful day and a fantastic weekend. And folks, if you want to send us a shout out video, scan the QR code on your screen or head to our website, christv.com.
From Chris 6, this is 20 minutes of non-stop news.
And we are starting our 20 minutes of nonstop news with our Manicam. He's over on Shoreline Boulevard, looking pretty good on that roadway so far. Hey folks, it's 44 degrees outside right now. A little cool, but you can see that's working for that man who is jogging right there. Hope you have a good time. We'll check in with meteorologist Stephanie Lauber in just a bit. But first, we have neighborhood news.
I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Adam Beam. When we last reported on Senate Bill 4, the Biden administration had filed suit against the legislation that would allow law enforcement to arrest those they suspected to be undocumented citizens. Now, the Department of Justice has dropped that suit, meaning that the bill could potentially make a return in the near future.
Amid an already active week for immigration concerns across the country, sights are now set on Texas.
It's a little hard to imagine what it'll be like if it is.
The Justice Department rescinding a suit filed during the previous administration, clearing the way for Senate Bill 4.
And that's nothing that's really been done before.
The bill was introduced by Governor Greg Abbott in 2023 and would make entry over the Texas-Mexico border a state crime and allow law enforcement to arrest any individual suspected of being an undocumented citizen. Under SB 4, those arrested could be charged with a Class B misdemeanor.
It's kind of the same as a first-time DWI, someone who has marijuana under 2 grams.
Any subsequent offenses being deemed a second-degree felony.
If you get a second DWI, that doesn't change anything. If you get a second theft charge or drug charge, that doesn't change anything.
Following a conviction and prison sentence, a judge would then be required by law to order those individuals to be removed from the U.S. entirely.
Now, the state judges also have the authority to say, well, we're not going to prosecute you, we're just going to send you back. But again, they're enforcing an immigration law.
Immigration attorney Deborah Rodriguez believes that while SB 4 has not gone into effect yet, its potential passage could create even more legal challenges for those here legally as well.
This could very well lead to racial profiling. I see it right now more so than I ever have. That's without SB 4. It's a little hard to imagine what it'll be like if it is.
While the Department of Justice has dropped its suit against Senate Bill 4, it is still being challenged in the Court of Appeals by advocate groups out of El Paso County. In Corpus Christi, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Adam Beam, Chris 6 News.
Adam, thank you so much. Now, since Stage 3 went into effect in Corpus Christi, landscape business owners say they've been impacted the most. Neighborhood news reporter Alexis Scott spoke with Bruce Golay, and he owns Affordable Landscape Design and Installation. He says since December, he's seen a big decline in business. He's downsized his group of 15 employees to just 4 because there's no work for them. And he recently applied for the city's Drought Resilient Workforce Stability Grant Program. He hopes this will help him pay his employees and keep his business afloat.
Usually we'd be scheduled 3 or 4 weeks out with people needing our services to do landscape design and installation. Because of the water restrictions, the phone isn't ringing.
The Drought Resilient Workforce Stability Grant Program is specifically for small businesses or nonprofits impacted by Stage 3 water restrictions. Now, with our current drought conditions, it might be a little difficult to care for your lawn. Neighborhood news reporter Melissa Trevino spoke with landscaper Ashley of Rivera, and she's worked at this nursery on East Main Street for 8 years. She shared this piece of advice for homeowners.
Water more in depth to the root versus like an irrigation system that's just on top. I would try to get that root saturated so when the heat comes throughout the day, the grass has that water already.
Now, Rivera also urges you to not reuse water from laundry or mopping floors that could hurt your plants.
Hey there, happy Friday. We are off to a very chilly start, but there's a warm up on the way this weekend, and we are celebrating the return of some humidity to the forecast. Usually it's something we complain about as we head into the summer months, right? But not this time. It's going to bring us a change of pace that will move us away from fire danger, and I think that alone is exciting. But what about some rain chances? Yeah, that's in the 7-day forecast too. A lot to talk about. Let's hop right to it. You see that blue on the map behind me? Yeah, have the wide view for yourself. It is chilly as you head out the door. You'll want a sweater for the start of the day, but you won't need it this afternoon. 44 is where we're starting the morning in Beeville, 42 in Mathis and Robstown, 44 at CCIA. We have 50s and 60s along the coast. And that's about as warm as we get. But we'll all see a warm up heading through today. Maybe you're planning that dog walk forecast. Our start today, Gus absolutely loves to head out to the beach and the coast. This is a beach pup after all. And the beach weather, I think, is looking nice for the weekend. We are going to see a bit of a breeze out there, but it's an onshore southeast breeze. So just be mindful of those beach flags. And remember, you can check the conditions on our website anytime. ChrisTV.com/beach conditions. But for Gus, we might have to take that walk away from the beach initially around Corpus Christi. Temperatures are going to warm up nicely once the sun moves up over the horizon and gets to work. We'll go from the 40s, the 50s, 60s, even the 70s. I think in Corpus Christi we stopped just shy of the 80s, but inland neighborhoods will get there. And it's thanks to the breeze that'll be picking up into the afternoon. It's going to be breezy, not too windy, though. I think yesterday with the chilly weather and the breeze, that kind of threw people for a loop a little bit. But we're going to see just gusty conditions during the late afternoon, early evening hours. Gusts around 30 to 35 miles per hour likely, but that wind is coming from the southeast. That's the key to this forecast. We haven't had that onshore flow in a while. We look to keep that around in the forecast mostly for the next week, and that is going to allow humidity to come back to the forecast, removing one of the 3 ingredients that we need for fire-prone weather. And so we are going to see our fire danger drop as a result. We go from very high fire danger today, a 4 out of 5. We're going to drop that down to a 2 out of 5 for the weekend. So a nice big drop. We still need to be careful, but at least we can breathe a little more easily with whatever your weekend plans may bring. All right, this is going to be our general wind direction because we have a big blue H over the Gulf Coast. So clockwise movement around high pressure will bring moisture back to the Texas coast. Don't worry about this cold front that you see here in the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas. That is going to get here late Sunday into Monday, but it's not going to be impactful enough to stop the humid up, the warm up that we see over the next couple of days. So humidity will stay abundant into next week, offering us a chance of rain. The first one comes as we head on into Monday, maybe Sunday night, but Monday. It's pushed back a little bit later depending on the timing of that front. And then the middle of that next week, we are looking at some really good rain chances. So get excited, dust off the umbrellas. We haven't had any rain for March, and it looks like as we head toward the last week of March, we might get lucky.
Now, 6 things to know before you go.
In the 6 things you need to know, President Donald Trump has signed an executive order to begin the process of dismantling the U.S. Department of Education. Now, the White House says the order aims to greatly minimize the agency, but it adds that certain critical functions like student loans would remain under the agency's umbrella. About 1,300 employees at the department were recently terminated. Completely closing down the department would require an act of Congress, which created the agency in 1979. Corpus Christi police are continuing their investigation in a fatal accident, and they need your help. The accident happened Monday night, just after 10, near the intersection of Holly and Airline. When police arrived to the scene, they found 41-year-old Sonja Lewis lying in the street, and she was taken to a hospital where she later died. They are searching for a dark-colored vehicle that could have more information on the crash, and if you have any information, you're asked to call the traffic division at the number on your screen. That's 361-886-2596. The Downtown Management District recently held a public input meeting to talk about the Agnes South Chaparral reconfiguration project. Now, the project would convert the stretch where Agnes becomes Chaparral Street from a one-way stretch into a two-way road. The city also wants to add wider sidewalks, better lighting, and more parking. City leaders believe this redesign will attract more visitors and growth to the impacted business owners. The project is still in the discussion phase, though. Now keep an eye out, folks. The Corpus Christi Fire Department's Fill the Boot campaign continues today. Firefighters from the Corpus Christi Fire Department will be out at various intersections around town to collect donations for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. CCFD wants to remind drivers to stay safe and alert and focus on the road throughout the campaign. The Corpus Christi Parks and Recreations will be hosting a summer job fair. It will take place tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Greenwood Senior Center. On-the-spot interviews will take place for over 100 part-time and full-time jobs that need to be filled. Greenwood Senior Center is located at 4040 Greenwood Drive. And Bigfoot from the Hot Wheels Monster Truck Show is making a stop at La Palmera Mall before some weekend shows. You can find the monster truck between Longhorn Steakhouse and Ulta from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., so make sure you stop by and take some photos with the truck and his driver. Monster Truck Live Glow and Fire will take place this weekend at the American Bank Center.
Hey there, good morning. Are you getting ready to head up and out for that commute? Well, you want to be the only one. Busy bees out on SPID this morning. So before you head out the door, make sure you grab a sweater before you join this sea of cars, because it's a chilly start to the morning. We'll warm up nicely this afternoon, though, and it'll be a nice windows down commute for the ride home. But let's check on traffic around the area for the start of the day. 181 between Portland and downtown Corpus Christi is looking A-OK. Even as we come down 37 across 44, that interchange from the crosstown to 37, everything here is looking good. Problem-free. That remains the case from the Bay Area down to the south side. And for those of you traveling around the bluff, the commute to NAS Corpus Christi is a breeze right now, as is the ride around Flower Bluff Drive or Waldron Road. The usual activity present, but nothing out of the normal. The ride out along the island is also looking to be a good one, heading all the way up 361. So as you head out this morning, make sure you stay safe and you drive safe. That's a look at your traffic report. We'll have more on your forecast ahead.
While others are celebrating spring break, some students were walking the stage, receiving their certifications as Child Protective Service caseworkers. I'm Michaela Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter on the South Side. That first step across the stage will lead them into their careers that'll help children and families in the Coastal Bend. 20 graduates.
Brenda Hernandez.
Celebrated for their hard work.
Today was a super happy day in CPS because we get to celebrate staff or people who felt that this was their calling.
Mullen Patrick is one of those graduates who's now a conservatorship specialist.
They ensure that the child is remaining safe in their placement.
Her inspiration,
my mom, she actually grew up in foster care,
stems from her own home.
She had kind of a difficult childhood.
Patrick says caseworkers helped her mom grow up to where she could be successful.
I appreciate the people who helped her while she was going through a hard time.
And now she wants to pay it forward.
It's very rewarding to do what I do and help children create a better future for themselves.
Patrick and her classmates started training in the fall and will be assigned to field offices in 9 different cities.
I'm assigned here in Corpus.
But they won't just dive head in first.
Well, the first month or so, they have a fraction of a workload, like almost a third of a workload of what a regular caseworker would have.
And they'll take on positions like investigators, caseworkers, and subject matter experts.
I think any position you hold within the agency, you have to have a desire to serve and a heart to serve others.
That's CPS Regional Director Denise Barrera.
Obviously, the work that we do is not easy, and so being able to have empathy and sympathy for the clients that we work with is super important.
And although it's not always an easy job, everyone I spoke with says it's rewarding.
It was kind of a full circle moment that, she went through it, and now I'm one of the people that helped her when she was younger.
One more round for all of our graduates together.
After graduation, these new caseworkers will be assigned north to Sinton, south to Brownsville, and everywhere in between. With your neighborhood news on the South Side, I'm Michaela Chavez, KRIS 6 Sunrise.
Michaela, thank you so much. So the American Kennel Club is out with its list of top dog breeds for 2024. The French Bulldog reigns supreme as the most popular purebred dog in the U.S. for a 3rd year in the row. The Kennel Club's next 5 most popular breeds are the Labrador Retriever, Golden Retriever, German Shepherd, Poodle, and Dachshund. A breed to watch, the Cane Corso. Its popularity has soared more than 400% over the past decade. Super cute. And you know what else is super cute that you can do at home? You can wear your funky socks today because today is Down Syndrome
Awareness Day.
Yeah. So our friends over at DPS and Choice Living Community, they're asking the community to wear their funky socks.
You know we had to do it.
Yeah, we definitely did. Should we just show them exactly
All right,
how we did it? Okay. Okay. We're coming.
Here's our sockies today. Of course, mine are weather themed. We've got sheep hiding under an umbrella to avoid the rain, and then piggies getting blown around in a storm here. So you'll have to dust off your umbrella if you remember what that is. We haven't had rain around here, but
Yeah.
I love your socks.
Yes, Shaggy. It's Brian's favorite character on Scooby-Doo, and that's also his nickname. He has a tattoo too.
Yes, and it's his birthday, so how could you not wear these shaggy socks?
Exactly. So guys, if you have some cool funky socks that you want to show off, make sure you stamp a photo, tag Choice Living Community, tag us too, because we want to see it, and raise awareness for Down syndrome.
And it's a competition, so even though we are going to win, you should still try, be a good sport. Let us see what your sockies look like, and we will bring awareness for those who live with Down syndrome.
So I think your socks might be manifesting something special for us.
Oh, we're doing the most out here because it's been a really long time since we've had rain chances that look this good in the forecast. So let's talk about it. This morning, maybe the long socks will be best because it's a little chilly out there. I know you see this blue on the map and you're wondering, oh boy. Yesterday was cool. This morning we're chilly. We're in the 40s for a lot of neighborhoods. 43 in Beeville and George West, as well as San Diego. We're looking at 42 for Mathis and Robstown. We're now up to 45 at CCIA, but down to 41 in Falfurrias. And the 60s only for those along the coast where the water helps you out. So as we go through today, yes, there will be a warm up. It happens pretty quickly. By 10 a.m., we're already in those 60s. Throughout the afternoon, we're looking better, getting into the 70s and the middle 70s, upper 70s. Okay, I think that's where we stop here in Corpus Christi. But for those of you who are west of Highway 77, getting into the lower 80s, it's going to feel really nice under abundant sunshine. Even the plans for Friday night are looking good. Again, you might want a sweater for that too as those temperatures come back down, but overall looking really, really nice. We'll have a bit of a breeze today, but not going to be overly breezy or problematic. It's a southeast wind, though, and that's what's important. That wind direction will bring in moisture, and so it's going to bring down our fire danger as we head into the weekend. We're going from a 4 out of 5 to a 2 out of 5 for that fire danger. So we still need to be careful, but you can breathe a sigh of relief finally. The reason why this is happening is because there is high pressure over the northern Gulf Coast that's going to bring humidity back to our forecast. And so as muggy meter goes up on the rise, it's going to stay on the rise as we head on into next week. Consistently humid, that means we have enough water in the air to make clouds. That means we have enough water in the air to make rain in the forecast. And look at that, isolated showers on Monday. We're watching the timing of that front. It could bring us a shower. It's not the best chance of rain. I think that comes in the middle of next week. We're looking at, like, it's going to rain. It's actually going to rain. It's not, oh, I hope it rains. It's going to rain as we head on into especially Thursday of next week. So good things happening in the forecast.
Yeah, some good news. Well, thank you so much, Steph, and thanks for joining us, folks. We hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you soon.
Friday.